guys, welcome back to another episode of Mr. and Mrs. M, the Vlogcast. I got it right this time.
It's a bad name.
What is this, like the 4th or 5th week?
Maybe.
Are you gonna say it's a bad name every single time?
Yeah, every time. Until we change the name.
It's fair. It's not changing, it's a thing now.
You can still change it.
It's really hard to think of names.
Yep.
It's really hard. Anyway, today we are going to be chatting with you guys about homeschooling and why we decided to do it. You just like smacked me in the head.
Sure did.
Thanks. So we put a poll on YouTube asking what you guys wanted to see next, and it was pretty close between two topics, this being one of them. And then we put those two topics that were close on Instagram, and you guys voted for this one. Well, it was actually almost like a 50-50 tie. Cody voted for one just to make it 50-50, like a butthead. So this week was the one that technically won by one vote. Yeah. And then next week we will be sharing with you the other topic. But anyhow, that's how this topic came to be. You guys wanted to know how or why we started homeschooling and how we came to this decision. So
why we chose homeschooling.
Why we chose to homeschool.
I have a habit of yawning through these videos. It's not because you're boring, it's just because
I mean, it might be the fact that we're filming at 10:56 at night. Busy life.
Could be.
Kind of got to squeeze this in when we can.
Fair.
Okay, so I don't think there's anything really juicy as to why we decided to start homeschooling. We've been homeschooling since the beginning, so it wasn't a situation where we pulled our kids out of public school and then homeschooled. We've just always done it. So I think for us it was more of a natural progression.
Yeah.
It kind of happened naturally. I think when Mackenzie was born, we're going to talk mostly, we might reference our daughter mostly in this video because she's the oldest and the first one, so... Yeah,
Grayson doesn't technically start for like...
No, but like she kind of set the... She's the first kid. But so when we had her, she taught us a lot, obviously, and then we kind of just started down this path of more natural-minded attachment, gentle parenting, and I think homeschooling kind of just ended up going hand in hand with that. It just seemed like a good option. Yeah. It seemed like one of the normal options to pick from for us.
100%.
So we were introduced to it before, like when Mackenzie was still a baby. The community of people we were, especially me, that I was associating with online and meeting, just like-minded people, a lot of them were homeschooling, and so I kind of got introduced to the idea earlier.
Yep.
When Mackenzie was still a baby. And then we started talking about it and just deciding kind of if this was something that might work for us in the future.
Yeah. And
kind of just opening our minds up about it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So, like we'll come back to that in a second, but why don't you talk about what it was like for you, because I think a lot of people are interested to know your perspective too as a dad, because I think a lot of the times the mom makes the choice or whatever and then brings it to the dad and the dad's like, oh, okay. Fair. So like what was what was it like as you just punched my ponytail? I never have my hair up, so you just keep smacking it. I'm just embracing my last ponytail.
Yeah, you're getting a haircut.
I'm getting my hair cut again tomorrow. But what was it like as for you being approached with this topic? Like, what did you think of the idea of homeschooling, and what was this like for you?
I thought it was, obviously, at first, like a lot of, I would say people, but especially I think dads probably do, where it was like, homeschool. Like,
I think at first
fuck?
There was definitely before.
Why would you do that?
Before we had kids, we were like, weird? Homeschooling's weird.
Are we those weird super Christian people that's like, no, keep them indoors? Like, I was so fucking confused.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like the more we talked about it and the more we kind of like looked at it as a viable option, I was like, oh yeah, 100%. Like,
it just made sense.
Yeah, because for me, and it's easier for me to just get this out of the way now. For me, there are two big reasons why I think it's the best thing for our kids. First one, and honestly the biggest one for me personally, is other kids are fucking dickheads. I am on the record saying I don't like kids. I love my kids. I don't like kids in general. Mostly because a lot of them are assholes. So like, and as a kid who was bullied mercilessly my entire life in school, man, fuck school.
Like that's...
This place is so dumb.
This is...
And like,
him being
teachers
bullied.
don't do shit, principals don't do shit, other kids don't do shit. Like, the place is just a fucking...
Like, you should know...
dog-eat-dog style... It's like the fucking Hunger Games, dude.
It is.
And you show weakness and you're fucked.
The whole reason we met was because he moved to this town because he was bullied so badly that his whole family had to up and move.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason
Yeah.
we met, really. It was because
Yeah.
he was bullied so badly.
Thanks, bullies.
So,
Yeah.
so simmer down there.
I hold a grudge.
No, but it is, for you, definitely a huge... I mean, I was bullied too, but not as badly as you.
Yeah.
You were definitely bullied way more than I was.
Absolutely.
That's a big thing.
Huge thing for me.
And what's your other one?
My other one is because, like, thinking about, like, school and, like, the attention that are afforded to teachers when they have overcrowded classrooms and all these other fucking things.
Yeah.
And, like, the way curriculums are structured and all this shit. It's so cookie cutter that doesn't fit every child's needs.
Yeah.
And I think that's... I mean, it's obviously what has to happen because it's just the reality of the situation. But I think that's fucking dumb. So, like, homeschooling gives us a way more kind of structured and specific kind of, like, schooling environment for our kids where we can look, like, what are you interested in? Kind of focus on certain things or approach subjects in certain ways where it's like oh, Mackenzie's super into animals. Okay, well, how do we teach, like... spelling and shit through animals? Well, easy. Like,
just make it more interesting.
Look, this is an elephant. E-L-E, fant. Like, like going through like everything, like subject by subject, figuring out what works best for each kid and what approach to use, and if we try something and it doesn't work, trying a different approach. Like, those are the kind of things that are literally fucking impossible in a regular school environment because, I mean... Like when I was growing up, my dream job was like I wanted to be a teacher, and like obviously that never fucking worked out. But like I one of my best friends is a teacher, his girlfriend's a teacher, and just like hearing him talk about like the classroom environment and how many fucking billions of kids he has and how big of assholes half of them are because he teaches 8th grade and apparently those kids are the worst.
Yeah.
And like all just the other stuff he has to deal with and like. How parts of the school are basically falling apart and half the shit's underfunded and all this other shit. It's like, why the fuck would we send our kid there?
Yeah.
Like,
and I think a big thing was for you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to speak for you, but we were in a place where we were able to have the option, and so it made sense when it was like. We don't have to send our kids to public school, so when we could do it better at home.
Theoretically.
And we could get, thing is, nowadays, you can,
Yeah.
If you can't do something, or if there's something that's outside of your limits as a parent, you can outsource that.
Of course.
So easily.
Of course.
So I think we were in a position that we could choose to give them, in our opinion, a better education.
Yeah.
And a more well-rounded education, and a more catered education.
For sure.
And so it was, for us, it was like, why wouldn't we do that?
Yeah.
Like, we knew it would be hard, and we knew we were stepping into some really new territory.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's a little bit important too, because that just idea popped into my head, to discuss. There was judgment that came from us choosing this.
Oh, 100%.
People didn't understand. Family
From
didn't
me
understand.
at first, because when Rainbow was like, we're going to homeschool.
Okay,
I was
be
like,
fair. I was like, we should homeschool. What about homeschooling?
Yeah, I guess. Like, I think it's fucking stupid, but sure, whatever. Like, kind of a thing. Not in, like, an apathetic way, but if it's like, if you think it's best, absolutely, we can do it. And it's still kind of
That's
fucking weird,
Cody's.
but I'll
That's
do it.
Cody's usual response. But then we sat down.
Rainbow's the smart one that does the research, looks into all the situations,
And I
weighs the
present it
pros
to
and
him.
cons on everything, and lays it all out on a silver fucking platter for me. And I'll just look at it and be like, do this one.
But the good thing, you don't give yourself enough credit. The good thing with that is, if he disagrees with something, then he'll go and like take what I've taken and go research those things.
Yeah.
I do I collect all the information.
Carly.
And then he does.
Come here, please.
Why are you?
She's like laying on the floor, like whining at us.
What?
Are
She's
you
like,
doing?
why?
Can you just
what-
come lay on the
what bed?
couch? Why are you laying on the floor? Your old dog hips can't take this.
No. Anyway.
Please just lay down. Thank you.
I think, yeah, but there was definitely a lot of judgment from everybody else that we had to deal with as well. Like, when we first told our family that we were going to homeschool, they were like, why?
Yeah.
What? That's
Because there's a
weird.
lot of negative stereotypes around it. Because, like, honestly,
100%.
like, with me, too, when it first was brought up, it's like, homeschooling. Like, aren't those fucking
Well, it's like-
weird, like,
It's like the
fucking
first question.
helicoptery, like, sheltery, or, like, super religious, or just fucking weird kind of parents? Like, those are the people that do that, right?
Well, it's like the people-
The weird sheltered kids, it's like, oh, they're homeschooled. And
Yeah.
like, that kind of thing. But it's like, since I've actually, like, looked into it and
into
seen
it,
other kids
seen-
and, like, seen the situation, it's like, oh, that's just, like, I mean, it's true in some cases, but if done properly, no.
It's not weird. It's like the first thing people ask you when you say you're homeschooling. What about socialization? It's like, that was our first thing too, kind of like, oh, wouldn't that be weird? Won't they be weird? But then you actually learn about it and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, it's the approach that makes it,
Mhm.
makes or breaks the weirdness. Yeah, so there was a lot of things, but those were Cody's two main
Yeah.
reasons. For me, like I said, it was kind of just a natural progression. It made sense to be an option. But then there was the catering of the education was a huge thing.
Yeah.
That if our kid struggled or was advanced in areas, we could go with them. Because when Mackenzie was born, we just wanted to give her the best of everything we could.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as she got older, and like she was a very clever baby,
Yeah.
I think, like, not from a bias standpoint.
No.
Slight, I mean, there's
A
always
little
the
biased.
bias.
My kid's smarter than your kid. Like, that's obvious, but, you know.
But there was, like, you want, I don't know, we were, like, working so hard to cater to her and cater to her mind and her style of learning and what she absorbed best.
Yeah.
And we wanted to continue doing that so that she would have as many opportunities as she could in the future to do whatever she wants to do.
100%.
And I think it just, like I keep saying, it just made sense for us.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was also a big thing for me. Another reason was that when you calculate all the hours, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody, this is just our opinion on why we decided to do it. When you calculate all the hours at the end of the day that your kid is gone, and if you factor in extracurricular activities and things like that, your kid is away from you more than you are with them.
Yeah.
And
It's a lot of hours in
that
the day.
sounded so bizarre to me that if we had the option to not do that, I was like, let's take that option.
Yeah. A lot of people, and a lot of people do it by necessity, but a lot of people treat school as like, yo, free babysitting.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Or like after programs.
Yeah,
stuff like
that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, but like Rainbow's already doing the stay-at-home mom thing. It's like, well, it's already available to us. I am getting text messages.
You are. Apparently we need to have phones shut off during this.
Apparently, I
Recording.
should have muted it. But like, if Rainbow's already at home doing whatever, like, you know what I mean. I don't know what you do during the day.
I don't know.
Actually, I do now because I've been home for like 4 months.
And now you do it too.
But like it wasn't like a huge dramatic shift where it's like, oh well, I have to quit my job so I can do this, blah blah blah. It's like, nah.
It was just
change your
continuing.
schedule, change what you do in a day. Carly, come here.
Yeah. Carly,
Stop
stop
barking
it.
at
Lay
me.
down. Go lay down. Go to bed. Good
Come
night.
here, doggo.
Don't pet her, or she'll keep doing it. Yeah.
She'll punch me if I don't pet
No,
her.
she's good.
Okay.
There we go. Our dogs always interrupt our videos.
Fucking animals.
Yeah, it was it was normal. Like, it made sense. It was a natural progression. I just keep saying that because it was. As for, I'm trying to think of like what you guys would want to know about this. Like, what made us decide.
Yeah.
Because there was definitely things that would hold you back. It's like, oh, I don't want to have the weird kid. And everybody thinks we're weird for doing this. But at the same time...
But then, like, anybody I've ever met who, like, they see our kids, they see how well-adjusted and, like, social and fucking smart and, like, learned and, like, how well, like, they speak and stuff. Like, I've gone to the playground a couple times and, like...
Yeah.
Seeing Grayson, who's 4, playing with other 4-year-olds, like...
Or 5, 6-year-olds.
Or 5 or 6-year-olds. Like, the way he speaks is, like... I mean, not in all cases, and this isn't necessarily because of school, but just as an example, like, he speaks very well. He's very articulate. He's very, like, concise with his wording and stuff.
You can tell a lot of time is spent with him.
He's not, like, because we don't do anything with him at home. He's
speaking well-rounded sentences, well thought out, complete thoughts, storylines. He can have a conversation, and then sometimes he tries to hold a conversation with another child his age, and they can't hold it back.
Yeah. And that's not necessarily the child or school or anything's fault. It's just like when other people see them and like how smart and stuff they are, it's like a lot of the... What's the word I'm looking for? Like a lot of the stereotypes and like the
judgments and
preconceptions of like what they're going to be like just go right out the fucking window because it's like, oh, okay, let's meet the weird homeschool kids. Oh, they're okay,
I think the opposites
they're
happened in terms of like judgment. I think a lot of people now especially I think we've made a lot of people consider homeschooling their own kids.
Probably.
Or consider homeschooling their future kids. Like, we've even had conversations with friends and stuff about people like, oh, maybe it's not weird. Maybe I would do that.
Yeah.
And I think it helps that things are so flexible now. Stop. Don't eat it, Carly. I wish you could see her. I think it helps that things are much more flexible and it's easier to do now, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to...
There's so many resources.
You don't have to homeschool for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Bang that shit out in 2 hours and go to the park.
Yeah. I guess we touched on this briefly, but I assume probably people would want to know if we were both on board with it and everything. So I think we were both apprehensive.
Yeah.
At first.
You less so. You were kind of like, once you got into the like, yeah, this is what you should do. Like, because... This happens with, like, anything, like, any decisions Rainbow makes. You decide on something, and you go hard as fuck. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, we're doing this. We're fucking doing this. And it
that
just
makes
becomes
it sound
a thing.
bad, though.
But no, but, like, no. Like, you personally. It's not like
not
you
like,
being to me like, hey, I've decided we're doing
this.
No, like, when you decide on something, it's like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like, you're confident in your decisions. You're very confident in your decisions.
Yeah.
So then, like... Me at first, it was like, alright, yeah, we'll have the fucking weird kids and we'll homeschool. Then I looked into it, and, well, mostly Rainbow looked into it for me and presented me with things, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, then he started looking at the information himself.
Yeah.
And was like, this does make sense.
And then it eventually came to a point where I'm like, yeah, why would we send our fucking kids to school? That sounds awful.
And at first it started with, okay, we'll try this. If it doesn't work out...
Awful for us. It's not awful for everybody.
No.
I understand that some people don't have the ability or the luxury, blah, blah, blah. But for us specifically, it sounds awful.
Yeah, we're just speaking from our point of view and our experience.
Yeah.
What did I just say? 2 seconds before that.
Good fucking question, I remember.
I don't know. A giant moth just flew like near the window and left. Sorry. Sidetracked. You're yawning again. It was just we said if it didn't work out, we wouldn't continue with it. And I think as the years progressed, it just more information built on it. When we started to have to look into styles of homeschooling and we started trying all these different methods of learning and teaching, it just kind of started to get more, oh yeah, we can do this.
And seeing how Mackenzie reacted to it and how, like,
right.
well she...
Overcoming obstacles,
Yeah.
too. Mackenzie was super, super shy.
Yeah.
When she was younger, like 2, 3, started moving out of it in 4. And then 5, 6, 7, she's been better and just getting way better. Like, she's pretty mixed. She's definitely an introvert, but she's not, like, to the point where, like, she would meet people and act like a dog.
Yeah.
When she was younger, like, that was her coping mechanism for being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we were like, is this because we're homeschooling?
Is this our fault?
But then we saw her, like, just everything we were doing.
She grew into herself and, like, became more confident and was like...
And stopped that. And,
yeah.
And then you have Grayson, who he's getting older. We have a second baby, and he grows, and you see how different he is.
Yeah.
So you then you start realizing it's, like, personality traits of the specific child. And not necessarily...
This isn't you, I promise.
I know. Not necessarily that we're fucking them up. Like,
yeah,
you know?
100%.
It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
This is just
them as humans.
Just them as humans.
Yeah. What else? Anything else?
Yeah.
Like other bits of it?
Just like why we began. I think that's why we started homeschooling and why we considered it and why we choose to homeschool.
Yeah, why we keep doing it.
We always homeschool with the approach, like, I think we should address this, like, we always have the approach of if it stops working,
oh yeah,
then we stop doing it.
Or if they're like,
I
we really want to go to school, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, alright, cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we'll
figure that out with them, we'll talk with them about it, and if that's what works, then that's what works.
Yeah.
Like, if Mackenzie was like, hey, I want to start next year in school, I mean, that's, like, less than a month away, but, like, we fucking look into it and try and get on it, like...
Yeah. Like, we did school tours with Mackenzie. We brought her on school tours.
Yeah.
We did the whole shebang. Gave her options.
Yeah.
And tried out a bunch of stuff.
I was trying so hard to hold that yawn and
I
it
saw
hurt
that.
my jaw.
I think also as Mackenzie got older and we started looking into school boards and the options we had, that also kind of solidified. Yeah. And I feel like as we progress in this journey, it's just more things are being... Oh, I almost hiccuped.
Nice.
More things are being validated. I think it's gone now, thanks.
Good.
So, it's kind of validating our decision,
yeah.
though, for now. But again, if it doesn't work, then
it don't work and we change it.
I think a lot of people are usually curious about... You might want to shut that off. People are usually curious about things like post-secondary education and if that's still a viable option, and once you research you realize that it is. So we're definitely choosing schooling options that still allow that to be an option for our kids.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, so before we stop talking about this, because I'm trying to be kind of quick and looking at the time,
hot damn.
We should probably address the fact, or the question.
You keep saying address, like this is a fucking press conference.
I don't know, I think I'm trying to, like, compensate for my tiredness.
Formal. Fucking chill out, dude.
Like, why am I formal tonight?
I don't know,
you're
that. Like, this ain't a press conference. Relax.
Sorry guys, sometimes when
like,
I
we
get
just
tired.
need to address this, like, just be like, oh, another thing I wanted to say. Like, come on, Rainbow.
See, balance.
Just chill out, dude.
I think
it's okay.
I watched a stressful show. Don't say what you want.
Don't fucking do that. It was Teen Mom. Rainbow's been watching it since, like, the first season it premiered. She's been watching that show for fucking, like, not 15 years. For, like, 7 or 8 years now. Yeah. Absolute fucking train wreck of a television show.
I can't look away.
Jesus Christ. So you were saying.
Anyway.
What else did you want to address?
Oh my gosh. People always ask us about socialization. And if that's an issue. Or if we worry about that. And if that affected our decision. Or if that affects our decision. I think maybe it's whenever we talk about parenting that makes me formal like this. I'm so worried about offending somebody or making people feel that I'm shoving my opinions on them.
If you got offended, you can eat a bag of dicks. Like, this is just us talking about, like,
I think that's
our
why
experience
I get
and stuff, so don't get all fucking uppity.
I love you.
Love you too, you're great.
You're the best.
Keep talking.
Socialization, was that ever a concern for you?
No.
Is it a concern for you?
No.
I think it might have been a thought before.
Like, it was a thought, like originally, when it was first brought up to me, it's like, okay, she'll never have friends because she doesn't go to school, and it's like, it's kind of dumb because there's other people who homeschool, and then there's just kids in the fucking neighborhood, and then
there's people in the world.
Other, like, basically every friend that could be her friend in school is still an option to be her friend. It's just like, they just don't see each other every day because they don't go to school together.
Or during school
like,
hours.
there's no difference.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal at all. Like, she still goes and sees friends, has friends, does social shit. She's try and get her out to, like, parks, and, like, she's going into drama camp later next month. And, like, all this other stuff, because it's like, yeah, let's keep her socialized. Like, we don't fucking box the kids in and be like, well,
and this goes for both kids.
Friends.
You can't have friends.
You know what
and
I mean?
She's influenced by other adults in her life, and we have, I mean, we're kind of lucky where the friend group that we've really developed, both of us, we have a lot of really great people in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of smart people and teachers and people like that we're friends with. So there's no lack of influences or resources through people we know.
Great support group.
Great support group.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's like so many things you can get your kid involved in. So in long-winded, over-talked point.
100%.
Like,
I love you, but that was super long-winded.
That was so.
You know how you could have answered that? Socialization.
What?
Wow. Socialization. You'd be like, yeah, she goes out and she has friends.
But then it wouldn't be a vlogcast.
Of course.
If we made it
but
short.
you kind of just like.
Yeah. Everybody.
Yourself
I think everybody knows.
Hey, well, just relax.
Everybody knows that I get tired.
Ooh, your fucking earrings are getting in my leg. Ooh,
I was like, what are you doing?
Ooh,
Ow.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that wraps up, though.
Pretty much.
Pretty much everything we wanted, or we thought you guys wanted to hear about this.
Yeah. If we missed anything, let us know.
Yeah, let us know,
and
we'll address it quickly in the next video.
Or whenever we get around to it, in all honesty. Like...
It's true. I try my best to get these up as much as I can, but
this is still a hobby. Like, paychecks start coming in, we'll get videos out regularly, but like,
it's just for fun.
Yeah. So, we'll address it when we want to.
It's not a press conference.
Yeah, it's not a press conference.
Don't address things.
Jeez.
Anyway. Okay, it's really late. I gotta go do some stuff.
It's like 11:23?
11:23.
Wait, how long have we been going then? Like a half hour almost?
Almost.
Shit.
About 25 minutes, so which is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go and hopefully go to bed sometime.
Eventually. Yeah.
We gotta get up early.
Bed will happen.
Bed will happen.
I still have notes to do.
I still have to work out. Fann's really asleep beside me.
Yeah, he is out.
Is he alive?
Yeah. Thin.
Oh, that looked like you poked him so hard.
It wasn't. It was gentle.
I'm just saying, like, from that angle, probably.
Thin.
Poor dog. Okay, you guys, thanks for watching today's video. Again, if you have any questions, let us know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. You hate
Not doing it.
Subscribe if you have not.
Or not.
We do this every Thursday. This is like the one scheduled video. As long as we're not insanely swamped.
Yeah.
I try really hard to get these videos.
So wait, do you have to get this
Thursday.
edited and out by Thursday, which is 2 days away? Because we're filming this Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Alright, good luck, dude.
It's okay, I have time tomorrow, I think.
Fair.
Hopefully.
Sounds
This
good.
is why I never sleep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fine.
Carly has a... Is that a fly on her foot, or is that just fluff?
It's a fluff. We don't have flies.
Okay. That's why I was asking. I'm like, is that just a fucking bug on Carly's foot? No, it's a floof.
That's a floof. Okay, guys. See you next week.
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. Bye. See ya. Thanks. Do you want to go turn it off?
Nope.
I'm so
Staring
tired.
at the camera until you turn it
Why
off.
was I so formal though?
I don't know. Rainbow, I'm staring at the camera until you turn it off.
Why?
It's still going.
I'm not even gonna put this in.
Because this is the bit that I'm doing.
This is not
I don't care if
bit.
you put it in or not. This is the bit I have committed to. And if I have learned anything in my comedic career, it's you have to commit to the bit to make it work. So I'm gonna stare at this camera until you turn it off.
No, I have to turn it off.